There are wounds that do not leave visible scars. They live quietly inside you, shaping the way you see yourself and the world. When you have been close to someone who manipulates, controls, and drains your spirit, the pain does not vanish just because others cannot see it. It lingers, whispering doubts, weighing down your heart, and making you wonder if anyone will ever truly understand. This space, called Emotional Soulmate, was created for you. It is a place where the truth about narcissistic behavior is spoken clearly, where the invisible harm of emotional abuse is acknowledged, and where healing is treated not as a luxury, but as a necessity. Here, the focus is not only on exposing the tactics of a narcissist, but also on guiding you through the long, often painful, journey back to yourself. Every word shared here is meant to remind you that your experience matters and your voice deserves to be heard. Stay with this piece until the very end. What follows is not just an explanation of why people fail to believe the truth about a narcissistic woman. It is also a guide to reclaiming your power, step by step. When you watch until the end, you will carry not only understanding, but also the strength to protect yourself and the clarity to rise above what once held you down. Part 1. Why the truth about a narcissistic woman is so hard to believe. The disbelief you face is not a reflection of your honesty. It is rooted in deeply ingrained cultural attitudes, the masks a narcissistic woman wears, and the limited awareness of those who have never been close to her behavior. Understanding these forces helps you make sense of the silence or denial around you. Cultural blindness. Society has long shaped an image of narcissism as a masculine trait. Power, arrogance, and domination are often associated with men. When a woman displays similar behaviors, people hesitate to acknowledge it. Instead, they may explain it away as sensitivity, stress, or emotional intensity. This bias hides the truth and allows the harm to continue unchecked. The perfect mask. A narcissistic woman often presents herself as generous, warm, and even selfless. She can appear vulnerable and in need of protection. This performance draws sympathy and trust. Those who only see her in public settings may believe she is incapable of manipulation or cruelty. They see a mask, not the reality. Distance from the damage. For people who have never been close to her, the stories of her behavior sound exaggerated. They have no personal reference point for the lies, the emotional traps, and the subtle ways she undermines others. Without direct experience, they default to doubt. This leaves you alone with the truth. The weight of isolation. When disbelief surrounds you, it deepens the wounds. You may start questioning your own perceptions. This is one of the cruelest effects of a narcissistic woman. Not only does she manipulate directly, but the disbelief of others compounds the harm. Recognizing the reasons behind this silence is the first step toward breaking free from it. Part 2, 8. Essential principles to protect yourself. Dealing with a narcissistic woman is not about winning a battle of words or convincing the world to see what you see. It is about building a shield of inner strength and practical defenses that allow you to protect your heart, your mind, and your dignity. These principles are not rules to follow blindly. They are guiding lights to help you move from confusion toward clarity. 1. Release the need to convince everyone. When you carry the truth of what a narcissistic woman has done, the first instinct is to make people understand. You want validation, you want recognition, you want someone to say, "Yes, I see it too." But chasing this validation can become another trap. The more you try to convince others, the more resistance you encounter. Some people are not ready to accept the possibility that someone they admire could cause harm. Letting go of the need to persuade is not about surrender. It is about reclaiming your energy. Every time you explain, defend, and repeat yourself, you drain your strength. That energy is better spent on healing and protecting yourself. Accept that others may need their own time and their own experiences before they can see the truth. There is also safety in silence. By not constantly speaking out, you avoid being painted as bitter or obsessed. Your truth does not need constant performance. It stands on its own. And when people finally notice the cracks in her mask, your quiet consistency will carry more weight than endless arguments ever could. 2. Describe behaviors, not identities. Calling someone a narcissist is powerful language. It can also make people defensive or dismissive. Labels close conversations, but clear descriptions open them. Instead of declaring what she is, share what she does. Point to the patterns, promises made and broken. Moments of kindness followed by cruelty. The way conversations always turn back to her needs. By grounding your story in observable behavior, you give people concrete reference points. Facts are harder to ignore than labels, even if they do not fully believe you at first. These examples will stay in their memory. Over time, as they witness more, the picture becomes undeniable. This approach also protects your own sense of clarity. When you focus on specific actions, you escape the fog of doubt. Gaslighting often works by blurring memories and making you question what really happened. Keeping your focus on concrete details sharpens your perception and strengthens your confidence. Ultimately, you are not in charge of diagnosing anyone. Your task is simply to name what you have experienced. Describing behavior is a way of reclaiming your narrative without being dragged into debates about definitions. 3. Place your well-being above all else. Living near a narcissistic woman often means living on edge. You might anticipate her moods, monitor your words, or shrink yourself to avoid conflict. Over time, this erodes your health. Stress builds in your body, anxiety steals your rest, and your sense of self begins to weaken. This is why protecting your well-being must come first. This protection takes many forms. It might mean limiting contact, even when others pressure you to stay involved. It might mean seeking therapy, joining support groups, or simply giving yourself permission to rest. Well-being is not just about avoiding harm. It is about actively nurturing your mind, body, and spirit. Placing your well-being first also means rejecting guilt. A narcissistic woman thrives on making you feel selfish for stepping away. But self-preservation is not selfishness. It is survival. You deserve peace of mind, and you deserve the chance to breathe without fear of her next move. When you prioritize your safety, you reclaim control. You send yourself the message that your needs matter. Over time, this shift changes everything. It is the foundation upon which every other principle rests. 4. Set boundaries that hold firm. A narcissistic woman often pushes until every part of your life is touched by her influence. Boundaries are the lines that keep her from consuming you. They are not barriers built out of anger, but fences built out of self-respect. Boundaries must be clear, simple, and enforceable. If you say yes when you mean no, the boundary collapses. If you argue endlessly about why the boundary exists, you open the door to manipulation. The most powerful boundary is short, calm, and firm. Setting boundaries is not only about what you tell her, it is also about what you tell yourself. You commit to holding the line, even when she tries to test it. There will be pressure, guilt, and maybe even rage from her side, but consistency is what makes boundaries real. Boundaries might mean refusing to discuss certain topics, declining invitations, or limiting communication to specific times. They might mean protecting your personal space, your finances, or your emotional availability. Each boundary you hold creates more room for you to breathe. Over time, the act of boundary setting becomes a declaration of dignity. It shows that you no longer exist to be shaped by her demands. You are your own person, and you have the right to decide where her influence ends. 5. Guard the inner world of your emotions. A narcissistic woman thrives on reactions. Whether you explode, break down, or plead, every emotional display feeds her control. Protecting yourself means learning to guard your inner world. This is not about denying feelings. It is about choosing when and how to express them. You may need to practice emotional detachment in her presence. This does not mean you stop feeling. It means you stop giving her access to your feelings as a weapon. When she tries to provoke you, a calm silence or a neutral response protects your inner stability. This skill takes practice. It can feel unnatural at first to withhold your reaction, especially when every nerve is screaming. But each time you remain steady, you weaken her grip. She cannot feed on what you do not give. Outside her presence, you need safe spaces to feel fully. Friends you trust, therapists, or private journals allow you to release the emotions you have held back. Guarding your emotions is not about burying them. It is about saving them for places where they are honored, not exploited. The more you protect your inner world, the more freedom you gain. She may still attempt her games, but her ability to shake you will fade. 6. Avoid the trap of confrontation. It is natural to want justice. You may want to expose her, to force her to admit the harm she has caused. But confrontation with a narcissistic woman rarely leads to justice. It often spirals into blame shifting, denial, or counterattacks. The more you argue, the more tangled you become in her web. Avoiding confrontation does not mean silence in every situation. It means choosing your battles wisely. Save your words for spaces where they can create change, not for endless fights with someone who has no intention of listening. Stepping away from confrontation is also an act of reclaiming peace. You no longer let her dictate when you explode or collapse. You choose to walk away, and in that choice lies power. Some confrontations cannot be avoided, especially when legal or professional matters are involved. In these cases, focus on facts, evidence, and calm delivery. Avoid emotional entanglement, because that is where she thrives. Let documentation speak louder than anger. When you stop fighting battles that cannot be won, you preserve your strength for building the life you deserve. Confrontation promises victory, but it only delivers exhaustion. 7. Watch what she does, not what she says. Words are the tools of a narcissistic woman. She knows how to apologize convincingly, how to flatter, how to promise change, but words without action are empty. To protect yourself, shift your focus from what she says to what she consistently does. This shift changes everything. Instead of being swayed by sweet apologies, you ask, did her behavior change? Instead of being distracted by declarations of love or loyalty, you look at whether respect is present in her actions. Patterns are powerful. A single mistake may mean little, but repeated behaviors reveal the truth. Keep track of what you observe over time. This record protects you from being swept up in the cycle of hope and disappointment. By focusing on actions, you reclaim clarity. You stop being dazzled by charm and instead anchor yourself in reality. This clarity is your armor. It keeps you steady when words try to pull you back into confusion. 8. Rebuild yourself through care and support. The journey of dealing with a narcissistic woman is exhausting. It drains confidence, isolates you from allies, and leaves you questioning your worth. Healing requires deliberate care and support. Self-care is more than small indulgences. It is the practice of reminding yourself daily that you matter. Proper rest, nourishing food, creative expression, and time in nature restore what has been depleted. Caring for your body is caring for your soul. Support from others is equally vital. Seek relationships with people who see you, hear you, and honor your boundaries. These allies remind you of your value when doubt creeps in. A support group or therapist can also provide understanding that lifts the weight of isolation. Rebuilding also means rediscovering joy. Narcissistic relationships often rob you of laughter, creativity, and lightness. Giving yourself permission to find joy again is an act of resistance. It shows that her influence does not define your future. Healing is not quick, and it is not linear. But every act of care and every supportive connection brings you closer to freedom. Over time, you rise stronger, no longer shaped by her shadow, but by your own strength. Living with the reality of a narcissistic woman, while others refuse to see it, is one of the most isolating experiences a person can endure. The disbelief cuts deep, but it does not erase your truth. You know what you have lived. You know what you have felt. Understanding the reasons behind society's blindness helps explain the silence, but it does not define your path. What defines your path are the principles you choose to live by. Boundaries, self-protection, emotional distance, and self-care are the tools that lift you out of confusion. They are your guide toward freedom. Remember that you are not alone. Others have walked this same path and found healing on the other side. The pain you feel now is not permanent. It is a stage that can lead to resilience, strength, and a deeper understanding of your own worth. Your story matters, even if others cannot hear it yet. Hold on to your truth, protect your heart, and step forward with the knowledge that freedom is possible. The storm may be strong, but you are stronger. And as always, because YouTube's algorithm tends to favor videos with strong engagement, if you feel this video has brought you value, a simple like and a quick subscribe would mean so much. It not only helps this message reach more people who need it, but also ensures you will never miss the next video that could make a difference in your journey. Thanks all.